Somehow I woke up out in Beverly, fucked up, smelling like that bourbon. And I end up alone. I'm not certain. Yeah, the girls impolite in the club every night. That's how it goes when you Hollywood perfect. Hollywood perfect.
Wagwan people, Lumanny here, back here another episode of the Aston Villa Save here on my channel. We are moving into, I'd say, the business end of the season. We are in March. We've got Champions League knockout football to play. We've got a lot of vital matches in the league, but we are starting things off in the round of 16 of the Champions League, where we take on Stuttgart, which should be a interesting prospect. You can see here we don't have a super long month. 4 games, the 2 legs against Stuttgart, Brentford, and the tough game against Liverpool. Only 2 months after that as well. So we are nearing the end of the first season of this save now. I would say so far things have been interesting. I'm not disappointed by where we currently are. I think we're kind of fighting where I would expect us to be, but I would say it's not maybe been as comfortable as maybe I thought it would be. As you can see in the table there, we were sat in 5th, just outside the Champions League spots at the minute. So Stuttgart lined up in a 4-2-2, I believe it was. I forgot to actually record the opening part where I showed all the team lineups and stuff. We're obviously in our 4-2-1-3 formation still. Ansu Fati has been a revelation for us as a left wing signing. Great recommendation from you guys, has to be said. I'll give you all your flowers that you deserve, because it was down to you guys that I did sign Ansu Fati, and he has been a revelation for us. Can't wait to see what he can manage to do next season when he gets a full season under his belt. But here we play the ball through to him nicely. Has a not the easiest angle to strike a shot, I would say, but strikes it well, and it does end up in the back of the net. Keeper didn't get near it. Stuttgart they were doing this kind of weird attack where they would sweep forward with a lot of bodies, but they would slow down as they got to the box. We went for a long cross here, and as Rio Hatate goes up to head the ball, Nubel does run into him and kind of takes him out in his midsection. Now, I wasn't sure at first if it was a pen. When I saw this, I thought it could possibly be one that was given, because if you factor it into real life, then maybe it's kind of more there. That was me rewatching it just to make sure. And I do decide it's close enough to being a real pen, so I will put it top bins. Ollie Watkins finishes it off nicely. You may see me from time to time, if I don't think something is a pen, I may put them over the bar. I don't do it very often, because I think most things could probably be given as a pen, but this time it was a pen, so we do finish it off. From kickoff, Stuttgart start sweeping forward very nicely. A lot of movement from them. Mittelstadt finds some space down the wing after a mix-up with Kamara and Cash. Does look, but you can see on the edge of the box again, they slow it down, find the ball out to Milo. He strikes one, but it is tipped over the bar. So I thought, but it actually ends up just being a miss. We pick it up with Pau Torres, find Matson. Back to Pau Torres. You can see that front 4 from the 4-2-2 is like really high up and disconnected from the midfield. So I go for the risky long ball. Does manage to find one of our players. Then here we switch it again to Matson. He heads it down well to Ansu Fati. Goes back to Matson again, who breaks into the box, and the ball across the box. I have to say Zagadou should have done a lot better there. I think it's one of those awkward ones where if he had got a touch on it, there's a chance that he scores no goal. So instead he decides to let it go across, which I think probably makes sense, because you can see from this angle better. If he does put a toe on that, there's a chance he puts it around the post, but there's also a good chance that he puts it in the back of his own net. So we do make it 3-0, and the tie is looking comfortable for us right now. Make a sub here, corner to Stuttgart. Wasn't sure what was happening with Pau Torres there, but luckily he does manage to clear it. The header then somehow falls to Matson, I think it was. He finds Matty Cash. Matty Cash knows that Leon Bailey has got pace over Zagadou, who's also tired. Bailey breaks down the ring, and John Duran almost fluffs his lines, but doesn't. Off the bench, literally just coming on before the corner. John Duran finishes off our 4th goal. So really, you have to say at this point, it's probably tie wrapped up. Things seem to shift from us scoring our 4th goal, and they just kept piling forward on us. I thought there was a penalty on Milo there. That wasn't given. It does get played across to Demirovic. He finishes it, but then it is given as offside. Wagnerman, he's a player that I am looking at for potentially signing next season. He was a handful in this time, man. He just kept getting past me. It's a good little fake from Reader there. Finds the space. And once again, we would fail to keep a clean sheet. But let's be honest, at this point, it's not really a surprise that we're failing to keep clean sheets. So it is now 4-1. Bit disappointing for us. Late on here, you can see we're just seeing the game out. However, once again, Reader with some very good dribbling finds the space, gets through the defence, lays it back to Demirovic, who crosses it to the back post. And that man that I was just talking about being a thorn in my side, Wagnerman, is at the back post, and he does head it into the back of the net. I don't really... I think Emmy maybe should do a little bit better. I think he maybe lost the flight of the ball a little bit. It's a good header at the back post, so I can't complain too much, but it would have been more ideal could we not have conceded 2 goals, because obviously that now gives Stuttgart a good foot in to having a chance in their home leg. So a lot more pressure on our shoulders now, whereas at 4-0, even at 4-1, it was looking like we were pretty much going to run away with this tie, but not to be. Hopefully in the home leg we can keep things tight at the back and kind of just see it out, but we'll see what happens. We know defensively we aren't the greatest altogether, but I think I show the stats here, and it's pretty much complete domination from us. Possession, shots. They do end up having a lot of shots towards the end of the game, but that was basically it for them. We don't have a lot of time in between this, where we are going into the next game against Brentford. We do get a loan offer for Adu, but I decided I wanted to keep him around this season, but I might send him out next season. Now, this is the tactical changes that I was making. A lot of you guys suggested going on to pressing, so I start making some coaching changes here just to get more coaches in, so we get better development in our pressing tactics. I stupidly here go and change some things and then break the tactics, so I have to go back in afterwards and fix them because I kept forgetting that certain things changed. I did have to change a couple roles though, because it had like Hatate on like half winger and stuff, and I didn't think that would necessarily play how I want to play. I'm also changing off having the defenders on ball playing and stopper, because though I like those generally because they step up to meet the challenge, a lot of the time it seems they're still going through the middle of my 2 centre backs. I don't really know what that is. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or if it's just a thing that's built into the game, but hopefully we'll be able to find a way to work that out and change that. So here's the Brentford lineup. I think we beat them last time. We may have drawn with them either way. Their front 3 is very quick, and they've got a very physical midfield as well, so I thought we might struggle on those 2 fronts, because I think we're playing Alfie Doughty in this one. Yeah, Alfie Doughty, I love him as a playmaker, but not the greatest one-on-one defender, I would say. He's decent, but not the greatest. This is the team that I'm liking the most at the moment, with Doughty in it. I like Matson's pace, but Doughty has that cross on him that is just superb for finding people at the back post and maybe even in the middle. Brentford come forward early here, threaten a little bit, but we managed to deal with it pretty easily. Doughty finds Hatate. Watkins then finds it back to Doughty. Doughty ball roll inside, finds Jaden Philogene over this side, steps around his man well, finds Ollie Watkins, and I thought that Ollie Watkins had blown the one-on-one, which he kind of did, because I guess it did get saved, but a lucky deflection off of Mikolenko just took it out of his reach, and he couldn't stretch to clear it away. So we do end up getting a bit of a give-me goal with the own goal from Mikolenko. I think it's because he had pressure on his back from Adu, I think it is over there. So I think he just kind of panicked a little bit and didn't really deal with it. Burmo was giving me all kinds of trouble in this game. It's a good cross-field ball from him, sorry. Damsgaard finds Norgard, and there again you see it happen where a player finds the gap between both my centre-backs, and I just don't know how to stop that one. I don't know if there's something defensively that I'm not doing, if there's a setting that I'm not doing. If you guys know, feel free to let me know down in the comments, because that is basically how I'm conceding most of my goals at the moment, is that players keep just scooting through the middle. Not a lot else happens for a while in this game. We do find a good switch here to find Philogene. He chips through Ollie Watkins, who goes through on goal. And a goal that Ollie Watkins often puts away for us. This time, not to be from Ollie. He puts it wide. So, struggles continuing for us a little bit in front of goal. A great ball around the corner from Brentford here. Jonathan David finds himself through on goal. Luckily, it's a good save from Emi Martinez. Gets crossed back to Lewis Potter. And Stanisic is there to stand up and get the ball out. However, the tide's changed again. The same thing that happened to us before in the last game against Stuttgart towards the end of the game. The tide's changed. Brentford started taking control of it. A shot off the post from Jonathan David. Then the follow-up from Lewis Potter is saved after that. Jacob Ramsey then finds the ball to Ansu Fati. He finds Alfie Doughty. Doughty, obviously, you know what I'm looking to do is to try and cross it. John Duran brings this down well. And there's a very poor shot from John Duran in the end. It just didn't feel like we had that extra edge in front of goal in this game. And that would be the reason that it would end 1-1. Brentford probably overall, with the chances they had, probably deserved to win it. We had decent chances, but I think we probably, I can't remember if we had less or not, but they definitely weren't as close to the chances that Brentford had. Now, Brentford had one more chance than us, but so not too different. So we are still in 5th in this one. Spurs have a game in hand on us at the moment, so they have the chance to move further away. We're still in the fight for top 4. We're still in the points range for top 4, so I'm not worried about that battle per se. But it's just a bit disappointing that we keep letting these results slip, really. You can see here 2 of the new lads that we called up have got loan offers here that will be accepted as we are preparing ourselves for the second leg. Like I say, we are 4-2 up on aggregate. Realistically, that means that we should, in all real life scenarios, all footballing scenarios, we should be able to hold on to this. However, you never know with how the tides turn in these games whether we'll be able to hold on to it or not. But I did think coming into this one, even if we nick one extra goal, then we'll see ourselves through, and that's good enough for me. Making the quarterfinals is what we want to do at the end of the day. So we've given ourselves a good chance of doing that with the 4-2 win. We did have to change a couple players in this one. Stanisic coming in. I can't remember if we changed the midfield or not. Let me just see. Yeah, Nana coming in the midfield. Ramsey playing that cam role. I'm not a huge fan of Jacob Ramsey at the minute. He just hasn't quite, he doesn't feel like he's quite got those playmaking roles that I need from the player that's going to be sat in that cam role. So hopefully we can either train him or we may look to move him on next season. Early doors in this one, Stuttgart were coming forward very quickly and playing around us very well, and within 5 minutes here they would find the first goal of the game. And now obviously this put butterflies in my stomach, because now that 2-goal advantage that we brought into this game is immediately taken away from us. So now 4-3 on aggregate. Yeah, it was a bit worrying to concede that fast. However, we would manage to string together a couple decent moves, nothing too special. We would win a corner off of this play forward here after a decent bit of playing. John McGinn would whip it into the middle, and Ollie Watkins would manage to just about squeeze it underneath the goalkeeper. Mr. Reliable, he has been so much for us in the league, not so much in the Champions League. He's done decently, but not like incredibly, I wouldn't say. But Mr. Reliable showing up big for us in this one. I'm not watching those slow-mo replays anymore. I just really don't like them, and they take ages, and I don't think it adds anything. But yeah, we do immediately get back on level terms. You can see a big skip after that. It was pretty equal. We find the ball to Ansu Fati, and he absolutely blasts one into the top corner. Ansu Fati making it 2-1, 6-3 now, I believe, on aggregate. So a pretty big turnaround for us, because I was worried when they made it 4-3 on aggregate and 1-0 on the night that we might capitulate a little bit, but we showed good resolve here. I only watched this slow down one because I want to see the volley again. I really don't like those replays though. I really would just prefer we just get a normal replay. We were pressing very high on Stuttgart, and it meant that they were going long quite a lot. Jacob Ramsey picks up the ball here and knocks one over to Ansu Fati, who basically from almost the same area with a very similar technique would volley one into the top corner. I don't know if it was top corner, but it was pretty close. It's not quite as obscene of a slowdown. Oh no, this was top corners as you can go. The one before wasn't top corner. So we do make it 7-3, 3-1 on the night. Stuttgart would have a late attempt here, but we do crowd them out very well, clear the ball away, and that would be it. Luckily, we don't fall apart like we could have done when they score early. We hang on in there, and we do make it 3-1. 2 wins against Stuttgart, 7-3 on aggregate. So a pretty huge performance overall from us in the Champions League. I'll be honest, when we started slipping a bit in form and slipping down the table, I was not confident of our ability to get through to the next phase. And definitely not confident of our ability to make it through to the quarterfinals. But here we are. We have made it through to the quarterfinals. You would say we had a bit of a favourable draw maybe, but hey, you take what you get given at the end of the day. We don't complain about it. So we do see ourselves through on this one. Unfortunately, I don't think the next round is drawn yet. No, because the other teams still have to play their set of games. So nice for us. We will hope that we don't get someone too difficult to face in the next round. However, speaking of difficult, we have Liverpool for the last game of the episode. And speaking of difficult again, we do find out by looking at the calendar who our next round opponents will be in the quarterfinals, and it is Borussia Dortmund after they beat Paris Saint-Germain 4-2 on aggregate overall. Unfortunately, we couldn't actually see it yet before the Liverpool game to see the actual lineup. I just put this in because I really like that they do that real stadium shot before you play these games. I think that's a really cool thing that they've added. But yeah, Liverpool currently first in the league. We know last time we played them that they were pretty much the catalyst for us needing to change things up in the team, because they were absolutely dominating us. We didn't even have a chance against them, I'm pretty sure, last time we played them. So pretty tough night for us overall last time out. But I did decide to put Alfie Doughty in this one with Kevin Danso and Pau Torres at the back. Jacob Ramsey had to play on the wing as well because we just didn't have a right winger, and I didn't want to play one of the youth lads in this game because I didn't think that was necessarily the best. I thought maybe that was throwing them under the bus a little bit. They have signed Lucas Paqueta, so a pretty big playmaker for them to have in their midfield now. But we know that if we play well, we can definitely trouble Liverpool. I didn't know if we would have it in us with our new pressing style, whether that would make things worse or better. I think in the long run it did make it better. We do find the ball to Doughty here, which is the whole plan. It does take a deflection and falls to Ollie Watkins, who puts it in the back of the net. But it would turn out to be offside. I think he was offside from the initial pass, to be honest. Before the deflection even occurs, he's offside, so wouldn't have mattered either way because he was never on. They kept breaking down the wings a lot against us when we would push our fullbacks forward, which obviously everyone knows that's the way I like to play. We would crowd them out pretty well here though, until unfortunately it would fall to Paqueta and he would hit it with an outside of the foot shot, which would see it fly past Emi Martinez. I was a little bit frustrated about this one, I can't lie, because I think we defended them well enough that we deserved really to not concede off the back of that, but the ball was bouncing around so much that it kind of felt obvious that at some point they were going to get a shot on goal. And from that point on, it pretty much switched to the all-Liverpool game. We maybe had one more attempt in the game. Emi Martinez was getting absolutely worn out with shots. Pretty much every time they came forward, they would score. They would not score. They would get a shot on target. You can see here, this is a classic moment where we just don't manage to get the ball through. We do chip through Ollie Watkins late on here. He heals off Van Dijk well. However, it ends up going straight at Alisson. So just not a lot happening for us, unfortunately. I know this was a stupid tackle before anyone says anything. I was massively frustrated with the fact that I just couldn't seem to break Liverpool down. So I decided to go in for a stupid slide tackle with Kevin Dan. So I didn't need to do it personally, but it just is one of those things. I was annoyed about it. I wanted to get like a slight bit of revenge or something maybe, but didn't work out that way. It is what it is at the end of the day. I'm not too worried about it. So he will be suspended. We do finish the episode off in 5th. Still only 2 points outside of the Champions League spot. So it's definitely still there for us. It's not over yet. So it's not all doom and gloom. We do have a couple lads going out on loan here. Confirmed loan deals. They will go in the summer, which will be good for all of them to get some football. I just think there's a couple players that I like the look of, but I don't think I can commit to just having a bunch of youth players sat around the club that aren't going to be playing. We do have a unsettled youth player in Michael Murphy. I decided to call him up because he has pretty decent potential overall, and then we will send Ronnie Hull out on loan next season as well to Turkey, which is a bit of a weird one in my opinion, but it is what it is. It's just wherever they might get some play time that they can grow. Then to finish things off, as we often do, we would move into youth scouting, and to be honest, this is probably one of our best youth scoutings yet. We had a couple players that were quite disappointing, but we do manage to pull an absolutely huge player in. Well, I've probably oversold that. Not an absolutely huge player, probably one of our best players yet. Here you can see me, I am releasing a couple of the original boys. Their potential had dropped below what I could bring in, so I decided we'll just let them go. And here he is, Jackson Price. He looks absolutely massive, and you'll see now why I'm saying that, because as we go into here to check potential, he comes out at a 67 rated left winger. It's 5'6", so not the biggest, but he does have plus in all left wing roles. Look at the pace and the agility. The balance is decent as well. Not bad attack positioning. His technicals need a bit of work, but he's got a couple of yellows here or there. And also Isaac John, I do end up looking through a bit, and I actually do like the look of him. So I decided, and then I see this, where he has 6 play styles. No pluses, but 6 play styles is pretty obscene overall. So I decided he will join us in the main team as well. Jackson Price, sorry. He will definitely be featuring for us throughout the season. But yeah, that's basically it for this one. It's not a bad episode overall. Obviously, we continue on in the Champions League. It's a draw and a loss in the league, which isn't great for our prospects of Champions League football in the Champions League spot next season. But hopefully we'll be able to turn things around a little bit as I show you the Borussia Dortmund matchup official, and then we decide to take a look at the Europa League, and I think we also look at the Conference League after this, just out of pure curiosity to see what was going on with that. Yeah, there it is. After that, Fiorentina Chelsea in the quarterfinals. You would have to think that Chelsea should be winning that competition, but that is going to be it for this one. So please like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell to get notified when the next episode is available to you, and I hope to see you in it. Peace.